Is copying code plagiarism? Have you ever wondered if copying code is considered plagiarism? This is a great question, especially for students in high school and college who are learning to code. Let's break down what plagiarism means in this context and how it applies to your schoolwork and projects. Plagiarism is when you present someone else's work or ideas as your own. This can happen whether or not you have permission from the original creator. In school, students often think of plagiarism as copying text from a book or website without giving credit. However, the same rules apply to code. If you use someone else's programming work and do not mention where it came from, that is plagiarism. There are several ways that copying code can occur. The most straightforward way is taking code from a website, a friend, or a textbook and turning it in as your own without making any changes. Even if you make small adjustments, like renaming variables or rearranging lines, it is still considered plagiarism if the original code is recognizable and you do not credit the source. Sometimes, students believe that rewriting the code in a different programming language is enough to avoid plagiarism. However, if the structure or logic is clearly taken from someone else, it still counts as plagiarism unless you clearly state your sources. In the real world, programmers often share and reuse code, especially in open-source projects. But in school, assignments are meant to showcase your own skills and thinking. Teachers want to see how you approach problems and what solutions you come up with, not just your ability to find and copy answers. Here are some key points to keep in mind for your classes and projects. Copying code without giving credit is always plagiarism, just like copying text. Making minor changes to someone else's code and claiming it as your own is still plagiarism. If you use ideas, algorithms, or code from others, always mention where you got them. This is true even if you rewrite the code in a different style. If you are unsure whether something counts as plagiarism, ask your teacher. It is better to check than to risk getting into trouble. Using code from the internet or books is acceptable for learning, but if you use it in your assignments, you must cite your sources. To avoid plagiarism in coding assignments, here are some practical tips. Start your assignments early so you have time to ask questions and get help if you are stuck. If you look up how to solve a problem online, write your own code based on what you learn instead of copying directly. Keep track of any resources you use, including websites and books, and mention them in your work. If you collaborate with others, make sure you understand what type of collaboration is allowed for each assignment. Some projects are group work, while others must be done individually. Remember, the goal of your assignments is to learn. Copying code might seem like a quick fix, but it will not help you build the skills you need for college or a career in technology. Being honest about your work shows respect for yourself, your teachers, and the original creators of the code you use. If you are ever unsure, talk to your teacher. They can help you understand what is allowed and how to give proper credit. Being careful about plagiarism now will help you succeed in school and beyond.